Well, Noel and I were shooting Between the Lions down in Jackson, Mississippi. And James Martin here of UNT had heard that we were nearby, and he had an idea for a puppet show. So he wanted to come see how television puppetry actually worked. Yeah. So he came down to the set, and the way he tells it anyway is that we were doing some scenes, and apparently, I don't know if you or me or both of us walked up to him and said, Who are you?
Who are you?
I'm sure we said it just like that.
Yeah. And you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he told us his idea, and that would we be interested in teaching a masterclass in television puppetry, and we said,
Sure. Noel and I teach workshops all over the world. We teach for co-production, a lot of foreign co-productions of Sesame Street.
Yes, Sesame International has different Sesame Streets around the world, and Peter and I have gone and auditioned and trained the puppeteers for those productions, and very often it's people who have never done puppetry before.
I've also trained people for Avenue Q, for the Broadway show and for the touring productions. This workshop is very different from those. One, and this is a great thing, we don't have to make any cuts. We're not auditioning anybody.
Right.
Anyone can take this workshop, which is really fun.
Yeah.
People that have never done it before, who just thought, I'd love to learn how to do this, all the way to people who are puppet builders or they're hobbyists and they want to take their skills to the next level. But what really makes this workshop different is this phenomenal television studio we actually get to work in.
Full working studio with 4 cameras, lights, dimmer boards, editing, cuts.
A multitude of monitors, video recording and playback, and it's professional. And they actually build these fantastic raised sets.
Yes, each year it's different.
Yeah. Most of the time we're in a conference room. Maybe we'll have one camera with 1 or 2 monitors hooked up to it. Here, the participants, everybody gets a lot of time in front of the camera.
Because it's me and Peter, we can have like pretty much a one-on-one basis with people and get full attention from us.
Yeah, there's the student-teacher ratio is much higher here. It's doubled. It's 100% higher.
Exactly.
And also the camera-student ratio is like 4 times higher than our usual.
And that's just the studio. Then the other side of it is that they get to create and build their own unique, genuine, one-of-a-kind puppet from Pasha Romanowski of ProjectPuppet.com, and they get to take it home with them. So they get a professionally made puppet taught to them by a professional puppet builder, and they get to figure out how to put it on camera from us.
I think the last time I heard of any workshop that's anywhere close to as encompassing and thorough as this one was the one that I went through about 25 years ago at the Gene O'Neill Theater Center, the puppetry conference. And for that one, there were professional puppeteers teaching us half the day, and the other half the time we were building puppets. But we only had a couple of cameras, and it was in a barn. Not in a working television studio.
Yeah.
So this is it's a really special experience.
Right. And so far, this is the only place that does it like that. What's great about Beyond the Sock is that the participants just run the gamut of people from all over Texas, all over the country, and even all over the world. We've had participants travel from Australia and New Zealand.
And Canada.
Yes.
And North Dakota?
North Dakota?
I believe so.
Yes, to come here.
Which is even farther away than New Zealand, I understand. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they can learn television puppetry for whatever reason, because they were curious about it, because they were fans of the Muppets and Sesame Street, because they've never done anything like this before and they want to challenge themselves. They're interested in becoming puppeteers. They always wanted to know what it would be like to be a puppeteer. And so for various reasons, they come and learn from us.
Puppetry, you're doing everything simultaneously. Jim Henson said we're actors from the wrist up. So we're doing everything an actor would do. Yeah, sure, it's a voice, but anybody can do a voice. It's a character. Right. You know, it's someone who has foibles, who might be, an extreme of an existing personality trait, whatever. But you're making all the choices an actor does, but you're also putting it all into your arm and hand. You're moving the puppet. You're interacting with other characters. You're making decisions and discoveries. The voice, it's not about that. It's about the character. And once you have the character, the voice will come, or it'll match what the puppet looks like or who they are. If someone was unsure about coming to this workshop, if they weren't sure if it was really worth it, I would say talk to anybody who's taken it. We get emails and letters thanking us again and again after every workshop, and people reporting back to the school.
People come back to do it again because they enjoyed it so much the first time.
We've already given you all our knowledge. We're like, no, we want more, we want more.
Yeah.
And to that end, actually, we've started adding more to the workshop. We started doing more of an emphasis, as much on the manipulation, also on the acting,
Right.
Improv and working with scripts and doing scene work.
And developing characters and character traits and relationships on camera.
And Noel has said before, as far as worried about, I don't have any experience, I've never touched a puppet in my life. Neither have half the students we have.
Because we remind people that once upon a time, we were you.
Exactly.
So we learned, and so can you. I've done workshops for families, for kids, and for adults, and it's still gratifying in this day of there's an app for this and an app for that, that puppets still have that immediate connection with a person. You put a puppet on and go up to a kid, and the kid will talk to the puppet. We'll have a conversation with the puppet. And unlike, a CG 3D character, they can actually hug the puppet and actually can hold the puppet's hand. And same thing with grown people. I've had grown people hug and kiss a puppet that they've just fallen in love with. And you can't do that with a lot of other art forms. So it's a very immediate, very personal art form that is still necessary and viable and fuels imagination and creativity in anybody.
People care so deeply about puppet characters they know on TV, from Sesame Street, from the Muppets. I know in my work with the Muppets, we do a lot of work on these talk shows and morning shows where they have celebrities come through all the time, every single day. And the crew tells us they're pretty nonplussed by even the biggest celebrity, like, okay, another day. But the Muppets come on set and people just melt. They become children again, and they want pictures, they want autographs. And these are people who work with celebrities all the time, but something about the style of puppetry, it really touches them. And we hear from kids all the time, kids with autism, kids with cancer, who just these characters, we'll hear from their parents too, that their children really respond to these characters. It's a pretty powerful art form.
Yeah. Peter and I have known each other, worked with each other for like 25 years now. And
we started when we were 6.
Yes. And now our resume is most people's childhood memory. So that's pretty gratifying to know that, people remember The Puzzle Place and Bear in the Big Blue House and Between the Lions. And it's still that very warm, shiny spot in their heart, and that, we got to put it there.
I love teaching because I love seeing the look on people's faces. It's like we're letting them in on a magic trick. What we do, taking these little bags of cloth and making them into lovable, relatable characters. It's a bit of a magic trick.
Yeah.
And I love seeing the progression. You get people day one, you stick them in front of a camera and they can't figure out their left from their right, and the puppet's standing sideways. To by day 4, they're putting together their own original pieces and performing them on camera in a professional studio in front of an audience. And it's really exciting, and it's really gratifying as a teacher to see them. It's contagious, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. We have a really good time.